Hello, everybody. It's another episode of Mini Madness. This is Dan from the Fundamentals, and I've got for you another cavalcade of tiny plastic things to show off and have you look at them and go, ooh, that'd be nice. Except these are different. You see, these are different actually in two different ways from the previous videos. The first way, these are not Dungeons and Dragons miniatures. They are from Magic the Gathering. So these are all things from cards and the lore of Magic the Gathering versus D&D. Now, I'm not 100% sure if they have a purpose within Magic the Gathering yet, other than having a nice thing to paint and have on your shelf, but they do double as a lovely thing to, you could use them for D&D. Fantasy is as fantasy does, especially with D&D and Magic. They've kind of overlapped a lot recently, so they can work for that. The other big change is these are unpainted miniatures. Yes, unlike the ones that we saw with the last two and other ones we'll see later on, which are pre-painted for you by someone. These are unpainted, just as detailed, just as well modeled, but they are not painted. You have to do it yourself, buy some paint from the people. Also, because they're unpainted, they don't have bases automatically. They come with a whole bag of these. Whichever one you get will have a base that corresponds to it that you can glue them to after they're painted, so that you don't get nasty glue all over the base while you're painting it. Rather clever. The pegs would be nice. So, Magic the Gathering, this is Wave 13. So this is currently out for pre-order. We'll start, as we did last time, with small ones, moving up to big ones. I have notes for this, because I am not as up on my Magic the Gathering as I used to be. Plus, these are new to me as well, in general. So, let's start with these two. This is the Core Hookmaster. So the K, you can see he looks kind of like Serge Tankian from System of a Down. He's got a big rope. He's got hooks. He's not wearing his shirt. He's very well detailed. Nice braiding on the hair. Lovely, lovely little figure for him. And next to him, with a different hook, is the Stoneforge Mystic, standing majestically in the wind with her large stick. Very, very nice. Then we have a couple of vampires, which I believe are black. Black blue is always my favorite, so I've messed around with vampires before, don't you worry. This is a vampire lady. She is a vampire hex mage. You can see she's not a whole lot, but she is standing there. Boy howdy is she standing there. Neat details though, like very good details. Oh, they got her cleavage in, you gotta have that. But yeah, she's standing majestically, magically even. And her friend, the Vampire Lacerator, coming to lacerate you with his big pointy swords that aren't fully pointy because they are evil. Faces are very good. Always the hardest thing to paint with these is the faces. But until they're painted, they look real good. Details on him are very nice. His hairs, they're very active. These are very action posy. The D&D ones are a bit more static. Then, some of the best ones in the set. Gerblins. Not because they're interesting or cool, but because they're Gerblins. This is a Gerblin Bushwhacker. Goblin, I should say. He's got a big scary face. And he's got a flail and a rope. He's coming to bushwhack you with his fist. And, a bit more passive, the Goblin Guide. Doesn't he look friendly? He's got a bag full of scrolls. He's reading something. He's explaining something. He's walking. He's got a pickaxe. Very, very cool little dude. Great sidekick for a D&D party, probably. The goblin's back there. Then we have a Coral Helm Sergeant, I believe. A sort of probably blue freaky fish guy, pointing, saying, "Go over there, there's fish. Or, go over there, there's fish. There's just a lot of fish." Very pointy, like, well, you know, a lot of pointy things underwater, I suppose. Seaweed on his tail, seaweed, coral sort of standards he's carrying. Cool thing on the front. And then his counterpart, who is the Lime Wave Watch. It's kind of like Baywatch, but for Magic the Gathering and more clothing. But she's got spiky fish gauntlets and a fish bikini and a big old spear coming, or axe, or spear axe. It's a polearm. It's called a polearm. And the hat that Mira wears at Aquaman. She's coming to get you if you want to have fun, because you're not playing a blue deck. And then we have these two characters, which I'm convinced are the same character, but in different forms. But I don't know much about Magic. Jorga Warcaller, who is standing here, potentially calling war. Seems like it's appropriate for her to be doing. Looks very Sylvanas. Anyone who's played WoW would understand that. Lots of skulls, lots of bombs. Cool transparent effect on the staff. Dragon will be a horse staff. Very, very cool. Action pose. I should mention, all of these I've done in twos because that is how they're bought. Unlike the Icons of the Realms, which come in sort of blind bags, these you can pre-order. You already know what they're doing. So they come in pairs. The goblins, the elves, the fish people, the two Joragas, they come in pairs, usually ranging from $7 to $8. The bigger it is, the more expensive it is, the more unique it is. Then we have this interesting bag of people, which are the Obdazad Ghost Council, which, let me get a big for clarity. They also will usually come with a base, like a cobblestone base that they attach to, kind of. But that there, we have Mr. Ghost, Mr. Ghost, Mr. Ghost, Mr. Ghost, and a Ring Wraith. You can see they are spooky. This is the head ghost. She's kind of like the Mayor of Being Ghost, but they're translucent, so they're trying to evoke kind of a haunted mansion kind of look with them. But they all go together and they form one thing. Finally, bump up things a size and look at. This is Aurelia, the Exemplar of Justice, which means she is probably white. Most angels are white. Very cool translucent thing there, giving her action pose. Her sword got a little bit in transit, so beware of that when you're buying these. Cool swords though, very cool armor, very detailed wings. Very, very cool figure. She comes on her own. Then we jump to the three big boys. Let's start with this ugly mother. These guys are going to be more in the $12 range for a figure, but oh boy, are they nice figures. This is Borigmus the Cyclops. See, because he has a Cyclops eye. Big, hefty, chunky figure. A massive axe. Very detailed wood on his axe. This is some like Warhammer looking stuff. He's got a big mammoth skull for a shoulder pad. Cobbled together armor with individual things. Sort of a ratty loincloth. You can see the rattiness and even the scars on his back and his hair and his face. Hello. Morning. Big ol' horns, and that is a face only a mother can love. Borrigamus, he comes. Then we have Isperia, Law Incarnate. I mean, she's definitely a white character. Maybe white. No, probably just pure white. Very, very cool Sphinx character. Oh no, I've knocked over a ghost. Oh no, I've knocked over 2 ghosts. Oh, disaster. Ghostly disaster. We have to move them out of the blast range. There's too much justice for them. This is a really cool figure. She's got her Sphinxy armor. It looks very kind of World of Warcraft. Sphinx armor. A lot of very Mesopotamian, this Sphinx is. The face is fantastic. It really looks like a combination of an actual person's face, it would be in real life. Well, real life in the game, and a statue. She's got her tail, which I don't think... Nope, tail doesn't articulate. These are articulated, they're statues. But anyway, lion claws, very detailed armor, very detailed wings, very detailed the area behind it. This is a very cool figure. These figures are kick butt. And finally, my favorite figure, because it's so freaking cool. Oh no, I knocked over the embodiment of Exemplar of Justice. Well, that was Law. This angry looking fellow is Rakdos, Lord of Riots. So he's probably very red. Maybe red-black. Probably pure red, like a goblin. But he is so cool. Big spiky boots on his hooved feet. A skull on his leg with the sinew and the muscle on him. The chain wrapping around his body. Spikes on his arms and his shoulders. His big old 4 horns. His wings, they're kind of skeletal and bat-like. The scars, look at the chains, those are so very cool. And of course, his big-ass axe scythe thing that's very spooky and demonic. A very, very neat, detailed figure. Each of those big ones, by the way, come as sets of 1. So, that is the 12th wave of the Magic the Gathering Unpainted miniatures from WizKids. Currently on pre-order. You can check it out down there. And as always, go check with your friendly local game store to get an idea of if they can order them in. And also, that's their best place to get paint. You know, you want to get some proper paints for these, do some tutorials, and really put some work in, especially for the small fiddly ones. But these big ones, whew, the price you're paying for those, you gotta do those right. It'll look nice gray though, especially the Sphinx kind of works gray because it kind of looks like a statue on its own. But yeah, so that is those. I will have more unpainted figures for you soon, as well as painted figures, because I have a lot of goodies from WizKids to go through continually. But this is just the newest wave of magic, and I can't wait to show you what more there is in store with the next episode of Mini Madness. Stay tuned.